Good afternoon and welcome back to the Locker Room Podcast. I'm your host, Oliver. I've got it this time. I've remembered. As always, joined by Sharpy.
Yo, how are we?
Bit of a semi-face reveal. I love it. And are we gonna show the fans the jumper you're wearing?
Oh yeah, repping the Oklahoma State University.
As a Thunder fan, that's close enough, and I like to see that. We'll start off with the NFL. The first game that was on Friday last week, which was the Buccaneers versus the Cowboys. Did you watch the game?
I watched a bit of it. Yeah, I thought it was a good game. I reckon it was a good game for both quarterbacks, really.
It was a bit ridiculous. I mean, some of the throws they were both making. Like I know Brady ended up with 2 interceptions, but Brady 32 for 50, 379 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The interceptions, I don't know if they were actually him to blame, but same goes with Prescott. He had 403 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I mean, it was a bit of a shootout, but did you expect it to be that close?
I don't know. It's the Cowboys. You never know what's going to happen with those. But Amari Cooper, obviously, with those two as well, and obviously CeeDee Lamb.
Don't they have your favorite defender on there?
Yeah, Micah Parsons. It's disappointing. I feel like he got a bit cooked, but I'm not giving up on him yet. And it's only his first game, so I'm hoping to see a bit more from him next game.
Who do they have next week? I haven't actually got that listed here. Oh, I'm sure.
Do I?
I think it must be a weak opponent if I haven't got it listed here. But yeah, I mean that was a great game to start off the season. I mean, obviously leaving Brady with a minute 24 left or whatever it was is it's always just like he's going to get there in the end. And I mean, he got there with time to spare. He ended up just throwing the ball out 3 times in a row. So I mean,
they play the Chargers this week.
Yeah, that will actually be a good game. After they had a win. Moving on to the next game, Pittsburgh versus the Bills. Pittsburgh had quite a comeback against the Bills in Buffalo, which was surprising. I don't know how the Steelers won it because Ben Roethlisberger looks a bit washed.
It was a great game, like for both teams on defense. I thought the Bills would have won this game easily. After coming off the AFC East title last year. Both teams looked really great, but you never know with these types of things.
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh I thought weren't going to be nearly as good as they were last year. I didn't think they'd be anywhere near it, and especially when Ben's throwing 188 yards in a game. I mean, I don't expect much from him, but Jesus, the comeback in the second half was real.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I won't lie, I didn't watch this game, but I watched the highlights of it. The Bengals win over the Vikings in OT. I won't lie, I'm a little bit happy just to see Joe Burrow's win. Don't know how many wins the Bengals will actually get. I think
still sacked 5 times.
Yeah.
That's stupid O-line.
Well, there's an even worse O-line that we'll get to in a second. But who's the Vikings quarterback? That's Kirk Cousins, isn't it?
Yes.
I think they should be winning that. They should not have lost that. I mean, they got all the talent there, but like they said, like Lockie Nat said last week, they're just inconsistent.
Yeah, obviously, like Jamar Chase averaging 20 yards that game, he looks good. Joe Mixon also looked nice. I think the defense looked solid. I think BJ Hill with the 2 sacks also. I felt bad for Dalvin Cook with the fumble. But a lot of the blame could go around. I think Mike Zimmer said they shot himself in the foot in the first half, and also with the 10 penalties in the third quarter as well. So, you can't really blame one person in that situation there.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of errors all over the weekend that we'll end up getting to. Twitter's favorite player for the weekend was Chandler Jones. 5 sacks. Never heard of him before. And then I've never heard of him, but I'm not an NFL fanatic. But 5 sacks. And Tennessee were just terrible. I think Derrick Henry had 20 yards or something at halftime rushing, which is you don't see often.
Yeah, they just looked lost everywhere. And Obviously, Kyler Murray was sensational with the 4 touchdowns. And Tannehill was just under constant pressure all game. So, yeah.
Kyler Murray looks like a little dwarf the way he moves just in the pocket. I don't know how he does some of the stuff he does, but there's a lot of good young quarterbacks. I completely forgot about Murray actually, but I didn't think the Cardinals stood a chance. But now I'm questioning whether the Titans are going to do much.
I thought I had Titans in my top 8.
So did I.
And so for them to come out and play like that it's a bit disappointing.
Yeah. The next game was probably, you could argue, one of the games of the rounds. We had the Chiefs versus the Browns. There's something red on your ear. Is that you?
Yeah, I was just muting my mic, sorry.
Oh, yeah. I was a bit confused. Chiefs versus the Browns. I mean, did you get to see the ending of this game?
No. Oh, the Mike Hughes pick, yeah. I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the whole, like, I watched after the first quarter, and the Browns looked like they were in control. The last 2 times the Browns have played Kansas City, they've been in front for a majority of the game, and up until the fourth quarter, the Browns were leading from start to finish, and it was possibly the first time Pat Mahomes has ever trailed the whole game and lost, but everything just crumbled for the Browns.
Yeah, well, it's just the fact that the Browns still can't win opening night. They haven't won opening night in a long time. I think they're 1-21.
Yeah,
I think they're last.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying it's just they can't just win opening night.
Yeah. Well, it seemed
Nick
like
Chubb impressed me a lot though.
Yeah, he was great.
It was unlucky for Mayfield at the end though.
Yeah. Oh, that pick. He was just trying to throw it out of bounds and just got tackled. But
that 75-yard touchdown from Tyreek Hill was pretty good. It was pretty good as well.
That was unreal. But
and obviously Kelsey, being the unit that he is, you can't stop him.
But I think you could see that there was just a real curse about it when they're up 10 points or so, and they're 20 yards out on 4th down, and the punter's gone to punt it, and he's fumbled it, and he's tried to run it around, and he gets taken down at the 18-yard line, and then it was like a 2-play touchdown for Mahomes. So, I mean, it looked like everything was going wrong, and then the interception, and it's just, I mean, the Browns probably have a curse, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns, if they meet them in the playoffs. I think that them and the Bills are the best set up teams to beat Kansas City out of that conference. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they win. But next game, sadly, is the Pats versus the Dolphins. Obviously, Patriots lost by a point, unlike your team. But I saw a lot of people on Twitter, I think even Stephen A. Smith, giving a bit of the blame to Mac Jones, and I don't think that's fair. I mean, like, he did start off slow, but that second half he worked his way into it, and people are going to argue that he's just throwing those 5-yard throws and everything. But I mean, that's the Patriots system. You just throw those short throws, and he threw 29 for 39 for 281 yards and had a touchdown. But I mean, I don't see why he should be blamed. I mean, the defense, the first half did not look good. Ty Tuivasa was just having his way, just moving them down the field most of the first half. But I think more of the blame would have to be to the 2 running backs that fumbled the ball, and one of them was in like the 20-yard line when we were down by a point, and he's fumbled the ball. He would have had a field goal anyway, but no, he's gone and fumbled it. But that's enough of me raving on about them. We should win this week, but we'll move on to your team. We'll let you talk about your team, the Saints. And I know you're really happy to talk about this, and sadly Brad's not here this week, but you go.
Yeah, it was a great game from the Saints, obviously. Winston changed my mind straight away. Like, with no interceptions, just 5 touchdowns. Juwan Johnson also, with two of them. So I think we played exceptional. I think we were amazing on defense. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, 2 interceptions. Was he playing bad on purpose? Yeah. I know he wanted out at the start of the season, but you can't just play bad like that. Obviously great by Marcus Williams also. So I think the Saints looked real comfortable as well, especially without Michael Thomas. I reckon Alvin Kamara also played well. It would have been nice to see a bit more of Taysom Hill quarterback for a bit, but I think if Winston's playing like that, you can't drop him for there.
Thoughts on Stephen A? I think you put the Saints second, didn't you?
Yeah, he put him second over the underneath the Bucks. It's a bit surprising. Like, it's only week one, man. Come on. Like,
Kansas City is still. Oh yeah. Wait, was it for the conference or the whole league?
I don't know if it was for the whole league. I just saw that he had the Saints second.
If it's the league, that's big if, but conference.
I'm just calm down a bit there, Steve.
What I found interesting, there was a stat saying that even if the quarterback threw the ball into the ground every single pass throughout the game, they would have had a higher QB rating than Aaron Rodgers had on the weekend.
Yeah.
So maybe he was throwing it, but he looks a bit homeless in his post-game interview.
Well, they were playing in Jacksonville as well, and I know the Rodgers never really performs well there. So, who knows?
Bit of a hoodoo ground. Next one was Stafford in his Rams debut against usually a good Bears defense. He played really well, and I think Rams are going to be one of the biggest dangers. I think they're very good chance of going to the Super Bowl. But I mean, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I thought Stafford was exceptional. I actually loved watching this game, both on offense and defense for the Rams. I reckon Cooper Kupp is exciting as always, and Darrell Henderson Jr. was nice. It was also good to see Fields get that touchdown, even though it was only a 3-yard drive. Obviously, Dalton's going to be getting that QB1 spot for the season, but Stafford was just playing out of his mind in that game. So
he had 20 for 26, 321 yards and 3 touchdowns. That is ridiculous. And I really liked Goff, but I mean, geez, Stafford did well, and I think they've obviously made the right move because there's rumors coming out that apparently you have to coach Goff to perfection to get the best out of him, whereas Stafford can just use his talent just to throw the ball anywhere, to be honest. So yeah, and then the next game that could have been arguably game of the weekend, Raiders versus the Ravens. Did you happen to catch any of that one?
Yeah, it was another OT game, really. Darren Waller doing bits, getting 10 yards, averaging 10 yards, obviously got that touchdown as well. But Derek Carr, fantastic. Max Crosby also looks good on D with those 2 sacks. So I reckon it was a great game.
Derek Carr, 435 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception that arguably it would have won them the game, but the receiver just dropped it and it kind of fell straight into the defender's hands. It was quite interesting to watch how one team throws an interception in overtime. I think it was in overtime, and then Lamar Jackson gets tackled from behind and fumbles it in overtime. So I mean, both unlucky, both lucky. But I think
I just hate the Ravens offense, man. It's when you have to rely on your quarterback all the time, it's just boring to watch. Like to rush all the time. It's just boring.
That's why
I know how good he is and how fast he is and everything, but it's just boring.
That's why I wasn't a big fan of Cam Newton at the Patriots. I prefer to see the quarterback pass, and it is good sometimes to see them run out, but even Mahomes, he runs out of the pocket but stays behind and passes instead of just gaining every single time. But
also that's just got to be on the defense. So you just got to stop Lamar Jackson. You got to realize that he's going to be running a lot, so you got to make sure that you're getting in. So
yeah. 2 interesting things. How good is the Rams and the Raiders stadium? That
really looks nice.
And did you see the Carolina Panthers thing?
What was that?
The Panther, it was like a 3D image of a panther jumping around the building. Oh,
yes, I did see that.
That was sick.
That was really cool.
The Jets knew they had lost when they saw that.
I don't think they knew they were going to lose anyway.
And then even Bruce Buffer doing the intro. So, I mean...
Yeah, that was really cool.
And big UFC weekend coming up next week as well. So we'll get to that later next week. We'll do a preview. We'll do a quick preview of the games this weekend. I've only picked out a few of the interesting ones and the ones with our teams playing in them. So if you've got any other ones, be sure to mention them. So first up is Steelers versus Raiders.
I'll go with Steelers.
I'm going to back the Raiders. I really like Carr. Panthers Saints.
Saints, obviously. As good as it was to see the Panthers win, not really. No, the Saints obviously been my team. I expect them to win.
You and Lockie probably have a bit riding on that.
Yeah, no, a lot of bragging rights there. Probably going to mute him if he says something if we lose.
If Jameis Winston turns back to his old self.
Yeah, that'd be very bad.
There's a big game coming up. Dolphins versus the Bills. Now, obviously, this is Patriots division, so this is pretty important game. Who we got?
I reckon the Bills can bounce back this week.
I agree. I hope the Bills bounce back. I mean, Dolphins defense is really good. And the one thing that's worrying me is Dolphins have got the easiest schedule for the rest of the season. So, I mean,
exactly.
Makes it just worse for the Patriots, doesn't it? It's ridiculous. But yeah, I think the Bills win, even though I'm pretty sure it'll be on the road. So next one is the Patriots versus the Jets. Mac versus Zach Wilson, the two rookie quarterbacks. Who you got there?
I got the Patriots.
Yeah, hopefully we can.
I still ain't trusting the Jets. So.
I don't think anyone is. But did you see? I saw one of the replays of one of Zach Wilson's throws. It was absolutely ridiculous. He's running forward and he just got split as he threw the ball like 25 meters down the line. It was ridiculous. But yeah, Pats are gonna hopefully have their way with them. And the last one, Ravens versus Chiefs.
Chiefs. You gotta go Chiefs easy.
You can't bet against the Chiefs. I don't think Mahomes has lost in October before. I think he's 4-0. Really? He's not 4-0, but he's 4-0 every season. Which is ridiculous. I mean, I don't like him, but I don't like him because he's too good. Sadly, but we'll move on to that time of the week again. Slugs. Horsey. And I have just come to the sudden realization that I haven't written them down. So I'm just going to give the race and the numbers at what track it is. So the first one he has is race 6, number 3 at Randwick. Don't have the name, obviously. Second one is race 6, number 4 at Caulfield. And his each way of the day is race 5, number 5 at Caulfield. So apologies for not having the names, but you should be able to go find them there anyway. From me reading them out, I'll tweet them out on the account tomorrow anyway. He got 2 last week, so he's not going too badly. He's back on the up. So anyway, moving on. Premier League. What a week. What a week of soccer in general, to be honest.
Yeah, it was exciting to watch.
We'll start with Ronaldo's return, obviously. I mean, 2 goals, whether it's opportunistic, whether it's terrible goalkeeping, what do you think?
Yeah, it's Ronaldo. Like, calm down. Let's calm down, United fans. Let's not get crazy. It was against Newcastle. Scored a tap in. Let's just relax. All right, yeah. Until you verse a proper team, I ain't seen anything special from you.
Until he versed the young boys later that week.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to do that against Newcastle, then lose to young boys. I know it wasn't good. You're obviously going to blame that on Wan-Bissaka, but like, no, I'm not hyping them up.
I mean, the first one was, you could argue, terrible goalkeeping. I mean, it did take a deflection, but he still could have got to it. And the second one, he nearly looked like he jumped over the ball. But I mean, it was a pretty nice nutmeg from Ronaldo. But it was, I won't lie, it was cool to just hear the whole crowd go "Sue" when he.
Yeah, a bunch of fanboys. Yeah, nice. Bunch of bandwagoners probably just got their probably just got their United shirts out of their cupboard or something.
They wouldn't have had it in their cupboard. They would have just purchased a new one because they're new United
their
fans.
old one would have been burnt. So
that includes you, Lockie. I know you're probably watching. So
yeah, listen carefully.
I know this is going to trigger him. So next up, I've got Salah scored his 100th goal. Now I've been saying, I don't know if you agree, Salah at Liverpool is better than what Ronaldo was at United. Argue it all you want.
Is that his 100th goal?
Yeah.
What, in the Premier League?
For Liverpool, I think. It might be in the Premier League. I know it's his 100th goal, but Liverpool posted it. I'll get that up while I'm talking about it.
I think it was a good game from Liverpool. You know, they played them all over the park. It is Leeds, so you'd expect them to do that. I still not 100% sold on Trent being England's number one right back at the moment. I don't know why. It's just I see James. Yeah. I see James being the number one choice at the moment.
It really, I feel like it depends. It depends on whether you're having you need a defensive right back, or say you're playing three at the back with two wide wing backs. I think if you're doing that, Trent's probably the best option.
And also, it's because the way Trent plays for Liverpool is what makes him great. The way he plays for England under Southgate won't make him the right back because he can't play the same way, which is shit, because Trent's obviously great technically and defensively as well. So it's a bit disappointing.
I'm just looking at it now. I'm fairly sure it's 100 goals in the Premier League. So I mean, that's quite a feat. I mean, I think he reached it nearly 80 games or something before Ronaldo. So I know it's probably a hot take in some sense. I'm not saying he's had a better career than Ronaldo, but I'm just saying in their stints at each team. So I know that's probably going to cop some flack. Arsenal finally got a win. Are they going to get relegated still?
Hopefully, yes. It was against Norwich, and they only just won 1-0. And I still think Norwich could have won that game. Norwich were copping a bit of a spanking, obviously, with the 30 shots, but there still was only 12 on target. So let's just not get ahead of ourselves, Arsenal fans. You're expected to win this game, and you only just won it. So,
and Norwich had some serious chances. They were not there was a couple of times where they clearly could have scored. It just lacked a bit of class. But I feel bad for Arsenal, but it would be so funny if they
don't feel bad for Arsenal. They deserve it.
It's coming from a Stoke fan. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Man City, Leicester. Man City obviously won 1-0. Did you watch? I know we were watching the Ronaldo game. Did you see any of the highlights for that game?
Yeah, I watched the whole game back. No, Leicester defended well. They just couldn't do anything attacking wise. Well, really, I think the way that with the 7 seconds system that Pep has, where after 7 seconds, if they don't get the ball back, they all just drop back heaps and set positions properly. But I think Bernardo Silva took his goal well. Also, Michael Brighton for Leicester, useless as usual, twat. So. Yeah, I reckon you expected men's. I was actually expecting Leicester to win this game, usually because they beat Man City. So
yeah. I watched back the highlight. I thought Leicester had quite a few opportunities where they nearly scored. They did have one that was offside. Did you think it was offside? I mean, it was fairly close.
Yeah, it was offside.
Yeah, it was very close. But even other than that, they had a few times where they hit the bar, and a couple other times where I can't remember exactly, but there was at least 2 other chances they had where they could easily have scored. Well, not easily have scored, but that header was quite hard. But I mean, Man City just don't look as tight at the back as I thought they would this season, and a lot of the pundits are saying that, like Carragher and stuff, they're not trusting the defense as much as they thought they would. And I mean, I feel like it's similar to United. You thought the United would be a very stable backline. Now they're getting Varane, but
And Maguire at the back. So yeah.
But Maguire's turned back into what he was however long ago when he was just a spastic. So I mean, that'll be interesting to watch those two teams for the rest of the season, though. Now the next one, Spurs. I'm pretty sure everyone had a pretty good laugh about this, losing 3-0 to Crystal Palace. They did have a red card, and I heard the other day that apparently it was the first time Kane hasn't had a touch in the opposition box or something for however long. What did you think of it?
Well, Spurs weren't in trouble before they are now. How are you going to let yourself get outplayed by Crystal Palace? Like, that's just ridiculous. I reckon Edouard came on, had a nice debut, a proper debut, not that spastic from United. Everyone, let's just suck his ass because he scored a tap in. It's all settled down here. So I think Crystal Palace deserved that win. It's obviously the red card as well. So yeah, I was impressed. I was impressed by Crystal Palace, and I think the new manager for Tottenham might have been the wrong choice. I know they searched for a long time to find a manager, but I mean they could have just gone in a bit more with other ones. Not a lucky Portuguese guy.
Well, I like Nuno. I liked him at Wolves, but I don't like him at Spurs.
I liked him at Wolves as well. I think he's a bit too big for his boots.
Yeah.
There.
It's definitely it's interesting, but yeah, like you said, Edouard's probably better than Ronaldo because I mean, Edouard scored 12 seconds coming on or something ridiculous like that.
Exactly. So everyone just calm down with the Ronaldo thing. All right, just relax.
But
go watch his highlights on YouTube and just calm down. So
Crystal Palace have got I think they're in like the top 6 right now, or top 8 at least. They got that Gallagher in the midfield. I'm pretty sure he's a midfielder. He's been playing really well.
Yeah. Well, obviously they got Etsy out also, which is unfortunate because it would have been nice to see him play again.
So yeah, it'd be interesting though. I mean, Spurs shouldn't be losing that, let alone not scoring is a bit ridiculous. But the final note I got here, I know this is going to make Lee happy. Shout out to Jack. And I'm sure we'll get a KFC shout out again. Everton still remain undefeated, winning 3-1 at Burnley. Does that surprise you, or did you expect this sort of a start after Rafa going there?
Well, with the team that they have, and obviously Ancelotti leaving last year with the way he assembled that team, you can't be surprised on how well they are performing. Also, Damari Gray again scoring. Someone stop this man, please. He's doing absolute bits for them. See, I've mentioned this price for them getting in for 1 million. It's just stupid, and for them to win also without Calvert-Lewin, I think it was a good game for them as well.
Andros Townsend hitting the time machine he only scores outside of the box bangers.
Yeah, left foot finesses. That's all he does.
I've never seen him score a Ronaldo tap in.
No. Or a Pinaldo tap in.
Yeah. But do you think Everton fans will put their differences aside against Rafa Benitez being a ex-Liverpool manager and everything and actually come to like him, or do you think they'll always?
I think the way they're playing at the moment, I just don't know whether he'd even bother. Just let him be the manager of your team. He's doing well for you. So,
and it's not like it's not like he's said anything bad against him. So I mean,
exactly. I think he might have a few years. I think he might have a few years ago, but
I mean, you're going to as a Liverpool manager, so
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to have to forgive him soon if these results keep it up. So match of the week this weekend, Spurs versus Chelsea. Surprisingly, after Spurs lost 3-0, this is the match of the week. Do you see any fight from Spurs?
Hopefully. I'd like to see Lukaku score a lot of goals because he's in my fantasy team. So
I think he's in everyone's fantasy team now.
Yeah, well, I've got I'm pretty happy with my team for this week.
So do you think Chelsea are gonna? What's your prediction?
I reckon Chelsea about probably 3-0 again for Tottenham.
I think I feel like this is one of the games where Tottenham are actually going to put up a fight, and you don't expect them to get a result, but they're going to. In saying that, I think the result's going to be a 1-1 draw. I mean, I don't see Chelsea's defense is way too hard to get past. And Spurs, I mean, Son's probably going to pop up and score. Hold me to that if he does. And if he doesn't, let's just forget what I just said. But yeah, I think it'll be a draw, but I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea win. Next up, we have the two Uniteds, West Ham and Manchester. Does Ronaldo score and do United win?
Well, I don't see United, maybe West Ham having an attacking threat really, with obviously Antonio being out this week. Maybe Bowen can slot into that spot up top. You probably think, yeah, he could score, but I don't know. It's against West Ham though.
I think West Ham are going to be good enough to get a result. I think they'll somehow figure out how to get a draw. It'll be interesting to see how United bounces back from the Champions League loss. So, I mean,
yeah,
I'm going to go with a draw. Next game, Everton Villa. I'll put this in here because Villa haven't been too good, but it's all about Everton remaining undefeated. Do they remain undefeated after this game, do you think?
Yeah, I reckon they can still beat. I reckon they can beat Aston Villa pretty easy here. Yeah, it's obviously Everton. I'd obviously can they just stop Damari Gray?
Your new favourite player.
Yeah, and obviously you're maybe Calvert Lewin back this week also.
Last game, Liverpool Crystal Palace. Do you think Crystal Palace will put up another fight, or do you think Liverpool have their way?
Liverpool easy this week. Probably about maybe 3-1, I reckon.
3-1. Yeah, I agree. 2-0, 3-0. Mate, Crystal Palace might get a goal. Who does Stoke play this weekend?
Well, we just drew yesterday to Barnsley, unfortunately. We've got Derby County this week. I think they're bottom of the table. So you'd expect us to win comfortably here.
And you'll be remaining in the top 4, top 6 if you do that, won't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're pretty disappointing. If we were to lose to Derby, I think they're bottom. So I'm probably seeing us win 3-0 here. Hopefully Tyrese Campbell can come back for the team.
And Harry Suter scores a hat-trick.
Yeah, well, he actually played really well against Barnsley. Maybe Abdel Seema, the new striker that we just got loaned in from Brighton. I think it'd be good to see him play.
Is there any other games you wanted to talk about?
Not really. If I check my notes, maybe PSG versus Lyon. Probably could say.
PSG probably going to lose after drawing with Club Brugge. Couldn't get past Mignolet.
Well, what about Barcelona losing 3-0 to Bayern as well?
I think that's expected now.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok this morning. It was a guy absolutely going off on Barca. He was saying stuff like, they've gone from having Henri, Messi, Ronaldinho, Eto'o, and all that to now having Luke De Jong and Memphis Depay up top. Like,
Memphis
was not happy at all.
He's a FIFA legend, Memphis Depay, though. So
yeah, obviously he's gonna be everyone's starter team name once a year with the Who Ate All Depay's teams.
It's about who's good at FIFA.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I think we've covered everything we've wanted. Thank you for joining us as always, Sharpy.
Yeah, no worries.
Love the face reveal. Sadly, no KFC shout out this week, and we'll be cutting it off before you can. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.